If you struggle to get up from a low chair after 65, your body is warning you about something serious. Watch this now. Good evening. I want to ask you something simple, and I want you to answer it honestly, not to me, but to yourself. When you sit down on a low couch, a soft armchair, or the seat of a car, do you find yourself hesitating before you stand back up? Do you reach for the armrest, rock forward a few times to build momentum, or feel a brief moment of genuine uncertainty about whether your legs are going to cooperate? Maybe it's become so familiar that you've stopped noticing it, just something you quietly work around every single day, without really thinking about it, adjusting how you sit, choosing higher chairs when you can, avoiding certain seats altogether. If any of that sounds like you, I need you to hear this clearly, and I need you to take it seriously. That struggle is not just an inconvenience. It is not simply what aging feels like. It is not something to shrug off or politely ignore. It is your body sending you a specific, measurable, well-documented signal about something that has real and serious implications for your safety, your independence, and the quality of the years ahead of you. And the earlier you pay attention to that signal, not with alarm, but with honest awareness, the more you can do about it. Tonight, I want to give you something more than a vague warning. I want to explain exactly what is happening inside your body when rising from a low seat becomes difficult. I want to walk you through what the research actually says about what this means for your long-term health. And then I want to give you a clear, practical, step-by-step framework for what you can do about it. Not someday, not after a dramatic lifestyle overhaul, but starting this week. Before we go any further, I want to be honest with you about who I am and what this video is. I am not a doctor, I am not a physical therapist, and nothing in this video is a substitute for professional medical evaluation or advice from your own healthcare provider. Some causes of difficulty with mobility, including specific joint conditions, neurological changes, cardiovascular issues, or the side effects of certain medications, require proper medical assessment and cannot be addressed through exercise alone. If you are experiencing significant or sudden changes in your ability to move normally, pain that limits your activity, frequent falls, or dizziness when standing, please bring this to your doctor's attention directly. What I'm sharing tonight is general, evidence-based wellness information drawn from publicly available research, meant to help you understand your body better and have a more informed conversation with the professionals who care for you. With that said, let's get into it, because this is genuinely important and most people are never told any of it clearly enough. Drop a comment below and tell me honestly, is this something you experience? Getting up from a low couch, a deep armchair, the car seat. How long has it been happening? I read every single comment, and knowing where people are starting from helps me make this content more useful for everyone watching. Part 1. What is actually happening in your body? Let's start at the beginning, because understanding the mechanism matters. When you rise from a low seat, your body is performing one of the most mechanically demanding movements of daily life. This might surprise you because it feels so ordinary. It's just standing up from a chair. But think about what the body actually has to do. Your hips are below the level of your knees when you sit in a low seat. Your center of gravity is well behind your feet. To stand up, your body must generate enough force to lift your entire body weight upward and forward against gravity from a deeply bent knee position in a controlled and coordinated way. The muscles primarily responsible for this are the quadriceps, the large group of 4 muscles running along the front of your thighs, and the gluteal muscles of your hips and backside. These 2 muscle groups, working together, are the engine of nearly every lower body movement that keeps you upright, mobile, and safe. When these muscles are strong and well coordinated, the movement flows easily and naturally. You sit, you lean slightly forward, and you stand up without thinking about it. When they are not, when strength has declined through the gradual process of age-related muscle loss, the body begins to compensate. You reach for the armrest to push yourself up, transferring load away from the legs that aren't generating enough force on their own. You rock forward 2 or 3 times to build momentum. You hover at the edge of the seat and pause, almost like you're bracing yourself. These compensations work. They get you standing. But they are also a signal, a clear, observable, measurable signal that the primary muscles responsible for the movement are no longer doing the job adequately on their own. This matters far beyond the inconvenience of needing to find a higher chair. The quadriceps and glutes that struggle to lift you from a low seat are the exact same muscles that catch you when you stumble. They are the first active line of defense against a fall. When they are weak, your body's ability to recover from a loss of balance is compromised, and you may not realize it until the moment it fails. The broader health picture. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related death in adults over 65 in the United States, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Each year, more than 1 in 4 Americans over 65 reports falling, and fall-related injuries, broken hips, head trauma, spinal injuries, are among the most serious and life-altering events an older adult can experience. Recovery is often long, difficult, and incomplete, and the psychological aftermath, the fear of falling again, frequently leads people to reduce their activity levels, which in turn accelerates the very physical decline that made the fall more likely in the first place. But the connection between leg strength and health outcomes goes even deeper than fall risk. Research tracking large populations of older adults over time has found that functional lower body strength, including specifically the ability to rise from a chair without using the arms, is significantly associated with broader health outcomes, including all-cause mortality. A notable study published in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology found that adults who were unable to sit on the floor and rise to standing without support showed significantly higher mortality risk over the following years compared to those who could perform the movement easily. While this specific test is different from a chair rise, the underlying principle is consistent across the research. Functional leg strength and mobility appear to reflect something meaningful about overall physiological health reserve, not just muscle, but cardiovascular efficiency, neurological coordination, and metabolic health, all expressed together in a single functional movement. This is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to make clear that the signal your body is sending when rising from a low chair feels hard is worth treating as meaningful health information, not a nuisance to work around. The process behind the decline. Understanding why this happens can make the whole picture feel less mysterious and more manageable. From around the age of 30 onward, adults begin to gradually lose muscle mass in the absence of regular resistance-based activity. The rate of loss accelerates significantly after 60 and after 70 more so. This process is called sarcopenia, and it tends to affect the lower body, the legs, hips, and glutes, particularly prominently, partly because these muscles depend heavily on consistent use to maintain their mass and function. Several factors compound the problem. First, many older adults become less active over time, whether due to joint discomfort, fatigue, or simply the reduction in physically demanding daily activities that comes with retirement and lifestyle changes. Less activity means less stimulus for the muscles to maintain themselves. Second, the nervous system's ability to recruit and coordinate muscle fibers efficiently also changes with age. The neuromuscular connection becomes slightly less sharp, which affects both raw strength and the smooth coordination needed for confident, controlled movement. Third, hormonal changes, declining testosterone in men, declining estrogen in women, reduce the hormonal environment that supports muscle protein synthesis. None of this is inevitable in the sense of being completely beyond your influence, but it does require active, intentional effort to counteract, and that effort needs to be consistent over time. Recognizing the full pattern of warning signs. Beyond the basic difficulty of rising from low seats, there are several related patterns worth paying attention to honestly. Are you choosing higher chairs over lower ones whenever you have a choice? This kind of quiet adaptation, reorganizing your environment to work around a limitation, is very common and very understandable, but it's also worth noticing as a signal. Have you started avoiding certain activities or situations because you're uncertain about getting back up? Sitting on the floor to play with grandchildren, attending events where seating is low or unpredictable, getting in and out of low vehicles. Every avoidance like this represents a real reduction in both physical function and quality of life. Are you gripping surfaces, walls, furniture, other people, more than you used to when moving through your home or out in public? Increased reliance on support surfaces is a sign that balance and leg strength are working below the threshold your body needs for confident, independent movement. Have you had a near fall or an actual fall in the past year? If yes, and if difficulty rising from low seats is also present, the risk profile is significantly elevated, and a direct conversation with your doctor or a referral to a physical therapist becomes genuinely urgent. What the research says you can do. Here is the part I most want you to take with you from tonight. Functional leg strength responds to appropriate exercise at virtually any age. This is one of the most consistently replicated findings in geriatric medicine and exercise science. Studies have documented meaningful, measurable improvements in lower body strength, chair rise performance, balance, and functional independence in adults in their 70s, 80s, and 90s who engaged in consistent, appropriate, resistance-based movement. The body's capacity to build and maintain muscle does not simply vanish with age. It becomes less efficient. It requires more consistent stimulus and adequate nutritional support, but it remains genuinely responsive, often more so than people expect. Let's walk through the full, practical framework. Step 1. Chair stands, done correctly. The movement that reveals the weakness is also the most direct exercise for addressing it. Most people who attempt chair stands do the easier half. They stand up and then drop back into the chair without thinking about the return. That return, done slowly and with complete control, is where a significant portion of the strength-building work actually happens. Here is the correct technique. Sit in a firm chair, not a soft couch, with your feet flat on the floor, roughly shoulder-width apart, positioned slightly back under your knees rather than straight out in front. Cross your arms over your chest so you are not using your arms to push. Lean slightly forward from the hips. This is important because it shifts your center of gravity over your feet, which is necessary for the movement to work efficiently and safely. Push through your heels and rise to a full standing position. Then, and this is the key part, lower yourself back into the chair slowly, taking 3 to 4 full seconds for the descent, maintaining control all the way down until you are fully seated. That slow, controlled lowering is called an eccentric muscle contraction, the muscle lengthening under load, and research consistently shows it is particularly potent for building functional strength, often more so than the lifting phase alone. Start with whatever number of repetitions is manageable without pain. For some people, starting from a place of significant weakness, that might be 5 repetitions. For others, 8 or 10. The number matters less than the quality of the movement and the consistency of the practice. Twice a day, 5 to 6 days a week, performed carefully and progressively, tends to produce measurable improvement within 4 to 8 weeks for the majority of people who stick with it. As the movement becomes easier over time, you can progress it by choosing a slightly lower chair, by pausing for 2 seconds halfway up before completing the rise, or by adding a brief hold at the standing position before lowering. These progressions continue to challenge the muscles as they adapt. Step 2. Mini wall squats for direct quadriceps strengthening. This exercise directly targets the quadriceps, the primary muscle group responsible for the chair rise, with minimal stress on the joints and 0 fall risk, since the wall provides complete support throughout the movement. Stand with your back lightly against a wall and your feet positioned approximately 12 to 18 inches forward from the wall, roughly hip-width apart. Slowly slide your back down the wall until your knees are bent at approximately a 45-degree angle. You are not going to a full squat, just a gentle partial bend. At this angle, hold the position for 5 to 10 seconds while breathing normally. Then slowly slide back up to standing. That is 1 repetition. The key is the hold. Isometric muscle contractions, where the muscle is working without moving, are highly effective for building strength in older adults and have the advantage of being low impact and easy to control. Research on wall sit and partial wall squat exercises in older adult populations has found consistent improvements in measured quadriceps strength and in self-reported ease of functional activities, including chair rises, stair climbing, and walking over uneven terrain. Begin with 5 to 8 repetitions, once or twice daily. Over weeks, you can progress by increasing the hold duration, slightly deepening the bend, or adding a brief pulse at the lowest position. Step 3. Heel raises for calf strength and balance. This one is often overlooked in conversations about leg strength, but the calves play a critical role in 2 areas that directly affect your safety: pushing off the ground during walking and making the micro adjustments that maintain balance when your body sways slightly. Calf weakness contributes to the shuffling, flat-footed gait that increases fall risk in older adults. Stand behind a sturdy chair, holding the back lightly for balance support. Rise up slowly onto the balls of your feet, lifting your heels as high as comfortable. Hold briefly at the top, then lower back down slowly. Again, the controlled lowering matters. 10 to 15 repetitions, once or twice a day, is a reasonable starting point. Over time, as balance and calf strength improve, you can try performing the movement on one foot at a time, which provides a significantly greater strength and balance challenge. Step 4. Daily walking on varied terrain. No single exercise replaces the integrated, full-body coordination that comes from regular walking. Walking maintains a neuromuscular efficiency, the communication between your brain and your leg muscles that is essential for confident, safe movement in real-world environments. Research on walking as a fall prevention strategy has found that consistency matters more than intensity. 20 to 30 minutes of comfortable walking most days of the week tends to produce meaningful benefits for functional mobility and balance over the course of months. Varied terrain, a neighborhood with gentle inclines, a nature path with slightly uneven ground, provides more balance challenge and more varied muscular stimulus than a completely flat surface. And research suggests this kind of real-world variability may be more beneficial for fall prevention than perfectly controlled flat surface walking. If outdoor walking is limited by weather, joint pain, or safety concerns, walking within the home, including deliberate practice of challenging transitions like stepping over small objects, turning, and navigating tight spaces, can provide meaningful stimulus. Step 5. Protein to support what exercise starts. Exercise provides the stimulus for muscle maintenance and growth. Protein provides the raw material. After 60, the body becomes less efficient at using protein for muscle protein synthesis, a process called anabolic resistance, meaning protein needs increase rather than decrease with age, even as appetite often decreases. Research suggests that older adults benefit from distributing protein intake fairly evenly across meals, rather than consuming most of it in one sitting, since the body can only effectively use a certain amount of protein for muscle synthesis at one time. Practical protein sources that are accessible, affordable, and well tolerated by most older adults include eggs, Greek yogurt, canned fish like salmon or sardines, legumes, cottage cheese, and lean poultry. If you have concerns about whether your current protein intake is adequate, a conversation with your doctor or a registered dietitian can provide guidance tailored to your specific health situation and any dietary restrictions you may have. When to involve your doctor or physical therapist. If difficulty rising from low seats is a consistent part of your daily experience, please raise it at your next medical appointment. It's a simple thing to mention. I've been finding it harder to get up from low chairs, and it opens a door to evaluation and support that many people don't know to ask for. A referral to a physical therapist is one of the most valuable things your doctor can offer in this situation. A trained physical therapist can assess your specific strength profile, identify any contributing factors, hip flexor tightness, ankle mobility limitations, balance deficits, and design a program precisely matched to your starting point and your goals. Physical therapy for functional mobility and fall prevention has a strong and consistent evidence base, and it is covered by Medicare and most major insurance plans in the United States. There are also evidence-based community programs designed specifically for fall prevention in older adults. Programs like Tai Chi for Balance, or structured group exercise programs offered through hospitals, senior centers, and community organizations that have been shown in research to meaningfully reduce fall rates in participants. The most important thing I want you to take from tonight is this. What you're experiencing when a low chair is difficult to rise from is not an arbitrary inconvenience of getting older. It is a specific, meaningful signal from a body that is asking for something it needs. And the evidence is clear that most people, at most ages, can respond to that signal in a way that makes a real, measurable difference in strength, in confidence, in safety, and in independence. If this video was useful to you, please subscribe. I share practical, evidence-based content like this every week, focused on real ways to support health and independence as we age without exaggerated claims or dramatic promises. And let me know in the comments, will you try the chair stands tonight, or will you start by speaking to your doctor? Either one is a meaningful step forward. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.